Hello everyone, my name's Aspect, your friendly neighborhood artist. If you read the title, you know that I will be taking on the task of reimagining a beloved comic book character. So grab your popcorn as I grab my pencil because it's time to redesign Invincible. So, Invincible, a character born from the brilliant mind of Robert Kirkman and put to paper by artists Cory Walker and later Ryan Ottley. A character set in a world abundant with super beings and multiverse, shenanigans. Sounds familiar, but Invincible is special. It always has been. Reading through Invincible was one of the greatest experiences I've had when it comes to comics. I still have all 3 compendiums to go back to whenever I feel like I need a little more of that raw, complex, charming storytelling the Invincible series offers to inspire me. So it's extremely important to me that I do him justice in this redesign. Before I begin, I'd like to make clear that I do not believe there's anything inherently wrong with Mark's suit design. As a matter of fact, I think it's near perfect and works great within the context of the story. I only do this for fun and to ask myself, what if I was behind the creation of this character's look? Plus, I need a way to make content and exercise my passion for character design. Now, my first issue. If he's invincible, then why can I see him? To fix this issue, I've decided to completely erase Mark. No, I'm just playing, but seriously. My first gripe with Mark's look is his build. Don't get me wrong, he looks great, but he's 17 years old. He shouldn't be quite as beefed up, or at least not yet. So I've gone ahead and made a slimmer build to work off of, as well as changing his proportions to better match that of a teenage kid. He's still well defined, I've just removed some muscle mass and made him more lean. Now that that's out of the way, I'm going to begin sketching out what will be his suit. Don't worry, I really won't be straying too far from its iconic look. As I do mean it when I say I love this suit. It's got a charm to it that I just can't help but adore. It's youthful, it's also simple, minimalistic, but memorable. Art knows what he's doing, but obviously we wouldn't be here if I didn't have a few problems with it, so allow me to show you what kind of changes I'd make. I'm really focusing on splitting up the suit's elements to either make them more readable or give them an actual function. I've done this by using seam lines and adding extra padding. Why extra padding, you may ask? Good question. Why does Mark need extra padding or armor when he's... A few reasons. Number 1, from what we've seen, Mark is certainly quite vincible. He wants to believe he's ready to take on the world and every obstacle it throws his way, and maybe he is ready, but the truth is that he isn't that unbreakable, invulnerable superhero yet. His opponents often outmatch him in terms of strength, so I gave him shoulder pads, thicker forearm gloves, and boots that are visibly kind of armor-like, as well as some knuckle protection for extra damage. Number 2, adding the extra protection will, in my opinion, make his transition to the all-blue suit feel a lot more significant. Robert Kirkman says that Mark's blue suit represents his darkest and most intense era. Having this extra armor around him and then removing it all in favor of a slimmer, softer, and tighter suit, instead of just a simple recoloring of the first one, will really make it feel more like Mark has now gained the confidence in himself to take hits and return them in this darker, more serious tone. Like removing the training wheels, you know? At this point, I'd also have him more closely match the body type he has in the show. And finally, reason number 3. I simply think adding those extra layers to his suit just makes his silhouette cooler, which I believe is a sign of good character design. Not to say that his silhouette isn't already cool, I just think it needs a little bit of nuance. Okay, going to backtrack a bit. Breaking up the suit's elements. As I mentioned earlier, one of the things I really wanted to focus on was making the design more readable. Sometimes less is more, but in this case, a little extra detail goes a long way. So some of the extra padding I've added isn't necessarily for combat protection, it's also about introducing some subtle cosmetic changes. Take, for example, the new goggles. They're inspired by classic flight goggles because as cool and as easy to draw as these are, they really don't look all that comfortable. What are they? Glass? Plastic? I don't really know. Huh. Anyway, I decided to redesign them so they're more form-fitting and durable, something that looks a lot more practical for Mark's constant high-speed flights. Like the ones from his homemade suit, the idea is that these new goggles would actually be able to withstand the kind of pressure and force Mark faces while flying. They should be designed with functionality in mind, so they not only look cool, but also make sense in terms of how they protect him while he's out there in the air at crazy velocities. Another small but important change I made was adding a collar. Now, I know this might sound a little weird at first, but hear me out. Collars on superhero suits are actually incredibly underrated. I'm a big fan of them. A collar just brings a sense of realism and structure to a suit, and it makes the design feel more tangible. It explains how the mask stays in place without flapping all over the place when Mark's zooming around at high speeds. Like, how does it stay so still and perfect? You're telling me he just throws that thing on and it just perfectly connects to the rest of his suit? What kind of sorcery? All I'm saying is, if we're being honest, physics would likely say otherwise. So, adding a collar kind of solves that problem. It makes it feel like the mask is tucked securely underneath it, giving the suit more structure and logic. Plus, it just gives the whole look a slightly more refined edge. It's a little detail that adds a lot of depth, I guess. And while we're on the subject of small changes, I decided to make the forearms blue instead of yellow. I know, a small change, but it's important because it helps draw more attention to the cool eye design on his chest, which, to be honest, I've always felt the eye logo could have been a little more prominent in the original design, so I tried to bring that element forward. The blue forearms help emphasize the overall shape and design of the suit, giving it a more cohesive and polished feel. And so, without further ado, here's the fully rendered character redesign for Mark Grayson, aka Invincible. I really tried to capture the essence of Mark's naivety while still bringing a fresh new look to the table. It's a redesign that respects the core identity of the original suit but elevates it with some added functionality. I also played with the idea of using two different types of materials or fabrics for the suit, maybe as a nod to art's craftsmanship or just because it looks cool. Oh, and just for fun, I played around with other color schemes that are reminiscent of some of his most popular alternate looks, such as his iconic blue suit and Omnimark, one of his many evil variants. This is, by the way, in no way, shape, or form how I'd actually have these suit designs look. I just threw these alternate color waves in for fun. Either way, I'm hoping I did a good job with it and that you like it. I'd absolutely love to hear what you think, so please feel free to let me know in the comments. Do you love the design? Do you think I missed the mark?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Okay, I'm sorry. If so, what could I have done differently? I'm all about constructive feedback, so don't hold back. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for me today. This is actually my first video, so if you want to see more from me, feel free to subscribe and ring the bell icon so you'll know when I upload next. And if you'd like to see more of my art, I'm also on TikTok, Instagram, X, Kara, and Blue Sky. Thanks for watching and see you next time.